And we're live.
And we're live. Hi, everybody. Ray Wood and Rebecca Mountain here from beautiful Canada, Ontario, Canada. I'm up north at the cottage. Rebecca's in sunny Burlington, about 2 hours down the road. And just quickly, I'll introduce myself. I'm a founder at Jiggler and Locked On. I've got my fingers in a few real estate startup pies, which is my thing. I love to write good copy, make good ads. I'm a marketing guy. I like to make the phone ring for real estate agents. And I have been working for the better part of this year, 2019, to get Rebecca on board with a session like this. So a big thank you on behalf of everybody, Rebecca. I know your time's really busy, but I love the fact that you're a Facebook specialist and you are a real estate Facebook specialist, which is even digging a little bit deeper. So, but don't want to steal your thunder. Tell us what's going on. What's happening in Rebecca's world?
That's in my world. Oh, many things. No, thank you, Ray, for having this, and great to meet everybody who has joined today. And for those of you who are listening to record it, I hope to meet you sometime real soon. So yeah, I've been a social media expert, loosely termed, and for the past decade. So I've been teaching real estate agents all over North America and a little bit in the UK on how to actually use social media to make money. Like, I'm not just here to say, get on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, because I think it's really cool and it's the new fangled thing. I like to be able to show you how to monetize it. And so I study this kind of stuff all the time. So I'm always learning, always researching. I've got a team of people, and that is actually their job to come and present to us anything new that's happening in the Facebook world. And then we go and we test it and so on. So I have, I show people how to do it like this in webinars like this. I teach people in classes. I do one-on-one coaching. I kind of do it all depending, again, on how deeply people want to learn this kind of stuff. So today I'm really excited because this topic here that we're talking about today, Ray, it is like the most popular thing. I have a 3-hour class in the Toronto Real Estate Board, and it's like 50% of it is devoted just to this particular topic.
Yep. Super important. And I think that real estate agents fall into one of three groups. They're either smashing it with Facebook, getting results, they know what they're doing, they're spending the right amounts of money, they're targeting, blah, 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 all of that stuff that you're about to share with us.
Yep.
Group number two, they're a little bit bitter and twisted about it because, like all of us at some point in time, we spent money, we got all excited, and then zero. Right? Crickets, or just like pointless results. And the third group wants to do it, but kind of doesn't know where to start and just probably needs a nudge. And I think we've got a lot of those people on board as well. So that's pretty much a summary as to where I think it's going. And I mean, the fact is a lot of agents are getting a lot of listing leads from Facebook. So as a Jiggler agent, we want you to be able to enjoy that opportunity as well. Rebecca's going to go through and show you exactly the nuts and bolts. So can I just say, if you're a little bit ADD like me, just suck it up and bear with us, because this is going to be worthwhile. You'll get the complete heads up on exactly what needs to happen, and make the notes that you need to make. We'll be exploding a few myths. And then I'm going to show you inside of Jiggler the templates that Rebecca suggests that we should be using. We'll give you some demos. Then I'm going to show you quickly how to find them and how to edit them. So if you've already got your Jiggler account, if you haven't, you can sign up for a free account at jiggler.com. I'll show you how to do that. But yeah, set aside an hour with us. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A after that, and we are good to go. Okay, Rebecca, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Ray. And so the other thing is, for those of you who have ADD, so do I. So I like to make this, I like to make it fun, tell you funny stories and bad jokes. So that usually keeps people interested. But I don't like to mess around. I like to get right to the point. And so let's start with the point. The biggest mistakes realtors make, and this goes for all three of the categories. So again, if you are one of the more advanced social media users, I'm going to make sure, I take it as challenge accepted, that you want to get something super valuable out of today. I want you to walk away with something you didn't know before. So hopefully I'll be able to do that for you. So the three big mistakes, as you can see here, people, when they run an ad for their listing. So today we're just focusing on listing. So, and creating a lead generation system from your listings. There's lots of other campaigns you can run. So just so you know that I could cover all that stuff, but we'd be here for much longer. What I want to do is talk to you about listing lead ads because they generate amazing results and at a super cheap cost. So what I'm talking about today is just about listings. So mistake numero uno that people make, they copy and paste the information from their MLS system or whatever, where it's all like, for whatever reason, every word is in caps. I've never understood that.
Very hard to read.
Extremely hard to read, and it's all one giant block of text, and I'll show you that in a second.
Caps is like somebody shouting at you.
Yeah, even if it's at the first letter of every word.
Don't do it, guys.
Weird. Don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it.
And sorry to interrupt, but I'll be your Australian conversionalist interpreter. Thank you. Looking for that word. So our Kiwi and Aussie friends know what's going on. The MLS is the multiple listing service, and so also what that means is that you wouldn't copy your copy, cut and paste straight out of your real estate portal or your website or anything like that.
Yeah. The point is you need to give it some thought. And I'll be giving you examples of really well-run ads and ads that have generated amazing results for my clients.
Awesome.
So that's the first mistake. So the fact is that you just don't put thought into the creative. You think that, you're trying to bang it out as fast as possible. And by doing so, you sacrifice opportunities for conversions. The second one, obviously, is too much text in the image. We'll be giving you some examples, very, very simple things you can do to really make your images pop. If your images don't pop, nobody's going to stop. Oh, that rhymes.
Love it.
First bad joke. Okay.
You're writing all your own gags now.
Trains right in the station. And then, of course, the third one is that you actually target the wrong people. And so I don't know if their new listing targeting rules have hit Australia yet. But this year, actually, Facebook was sued by the Housing Association in the US, and they have put through some extremely stringent rules on how you can target people for your listings. So I'm in Canada, and technically these rules have not hit up here yet. I don't care, and I am adhering to them because the wonderful thing about Facebook is they don't tell you when the new rules are in force. They just simply deactivate your account because you are in violation. So I prefer to stay on the right side of the law when it comes to Facebook because they're rather relentless and they will never talk to you. So these are the three big mistakes that realtors make when they go to create their listing ads in particular, and we're going to solve for all of them today. This is why I'm super pumped. So the first piece of the puzzle, before we get into actually creating the ad, I'm actually going to build it with you guys, is how to actually structure your listing ads. That's how we're going to start talking about the elements of an amazing ad. So a winning ad is an ad that generates lots of leads at a low price. This is our objective here, right? So the first thing to understand about a listing ad is you don't write like anything about you other than in the call to action on how they can get in touch with you about this particular home or condo or whatever it is that you're selling. Okay. So everything when you're looking at the writing of your ad should be about the potential buyers. Okay. It's not even about the sellers anymore. You need to create a story around the listing so that people get excited. People will not necessarily get excited. They just see, a couple of points and, your phone number with, call me if you have referrals. That's not fun to read. So what you want to do is you want to really create the sense that this is a home. And there's a lot of fear that goes into people moving, right? They fear the financial repercussions. They fear a break in their routine. They fear what's going to happen with their kids, right? Are the kids going to adapt to it well, or is it going to be a gong show, right? I've got 4 kids. And so, yeah, moving is not my favorite thing to do because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of little people. Actually, they're big people now, but I digress. The point is, when you can create a story more around the home, when you can talk about what it will be like to live there, or build out almost like little scenarios of doing homework at the kitchen table or entertaining late into the evening in the beautiful backyard. Like, you don't say nice backyard with a deck, it's great. No one's getting excited about that. What they are getting excited about is picturing themselves living there. So one of the greatest things you can do with your sellers is ask them, what do you love to do most in this house? Like, what do you find functionally is the best that you get from this house? And what you get from them is really how they use the space. Like in my home, I have a great backyard. We love to throw parties. I play baseball. We have our baseball parties back there, much to my neighbor's chagrin, but hey, we have fun, right? And so it's a beautiful aspect of my home. And if I was going to sell my home and try to attract other buyers, I would love for them to picture themselves, either their kids hanging out in the backyard or themselves hanging in the backyard. The people who owned the house before us were an older couple, and they would have neighborhood parties in the backyard. Like this was like the place that the neighborhood would gather. And so when you build that kind of storytelling around the home, you generate a lot of excitement about your listing. And we've tested the whole just straight up, statistics about the home versus more of a storytelling, kind of getting people excited about the emotion attached to the home. And that one does way better. So if you're not really good at storytelling and you don't think you're a very good copywriter, just ask your sellers, right?
Yep.
How do you most enjoy this home?
Perfect.
Right.
Love that. Yeah, you got to reach out and engage them with, and you're also identifying your market pretty much, Rebecca, aren't you? Like you're saying, if you're saying, the ultimate party house. Maybe the sellers like to party, so you're immediately identifying people like you and me that would love to have a house and host great parties, right?
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah. That's the excitement. That's the emotion.
It is. Now, I'm going to make a quick point here, and I will come back to it because it is really important. Again, it all goes back to this lawsuit that was successfully put against Facebook. Okay, so I think they were at like $9 million. So it wasn't, for them, it's like a penny. But anyway, the other thing you're going to want to completely avoid, even in your storytelling, and you're going to have to watch for this, is any language that can be construed to be discriminatory.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, like say if there's like a little condo or a townhouse or something, it's really cute. And you used to be able to say, great for young professionals or young families and whatever. You can no longer say that because that is considered discriminatory. Because if I am a family, like say I'm like when 10 years ago, I went through a divorce, right? That could be saying, well, you're discriminating against me because I'm not, a young family, or I don't fit into this little box that you have described. Therefore, I feel offended. So the world is easily offended, and we just have to kind of roll with it. And by being careful with your language, so saying great party house, like you suggested, Ray, that's perfect. Saying that it's great for downsizers, first-time buyers, move-ups, families, blah, 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 not good. So you can describe again, this is why I come back to the functional use of the home and how people live in the home and how they experience the neighborhood, right? So watch your kids walk to school all the way there, right? So for parents who are a little nervous maybe about their kids in a new neighborhood and safety and stuff like that. So talk about those elements because that's what people care about, right? I'd rather hear more about the local skate park than I would about how many square feet's in the closet.
Yeah.
Right. So
and you're looking for problems to solve as well, aren't you? So
bingo.
The typical buyer for this home is looking to solve what problem? Is it an upsize, a downsize, less work, more space, whatever? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. And again, look for the opportunities because everything in your advertising, like everything in every ad, should have one particular objective. And Ray, you absolutely nailed it on the head. Be helpful. That's your job. You're not selling a home. You're selling a future opportunity for people to live amazing lives and a better life than where they're living before. It's your job to figure out kind of, generally speaking, where you think people will be coming from. So what are they trying to move away from and what is this allowing them to move into? So that's kind of it's a very long description of one single slide, but it's a really, really important point because this is where, again, when things get busy in real estate, and I've seen busy, I've worked with tons of different types of teams, solo realtors, teams, right, and brokerages, I worked with them all, and when stuff gets busy, usually this storytelling aspect kind of gets kind of shoved aside and you go back down to the statistics. If you want your ads to consistently perform, you got to throw in storytelling, and it has to, again, prove that you can solve a problem, be helpful, and present that this home is going to be a great opportunity. Because remember, you're fighting against some pretty big fears. I don't think I can afford to move. It's going to disrupt my children's lives. They're going to have to change schools. I'm going to have to figure out, can I get to work in the same way, right? Like, how are things going to be disrupted in their lives? And that's a big reason people don't move.
People buy, sorry to interrupt, but just why I think because it's a relevant point, and I've been thinking a lot about it lately. People buy on emotion, and then they justify with logic. So look, it had the extra bedroom, it had the bigger garden, it had the pool, it had off-street parking, whatever it might be.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
and oftentimes, as we know in real estate, your buyer is not actively looking, but they see the opportunity. So the opportunity has to outweigh the risk.
Yep.
Or the power or the emotion around the opportunity. And
Absolutely.
talking about storytelling, I mean, that's where Hollywood's so effective, because they're just gifted. I mean, I think I sent you that clip, but Quentin Tarantino, the way he writes a script, right? And he's just got a new movie out, and they just analyze the way he writes the script. And you may or may not like his stuff, but it sets you, it does engage you right from the start, and it sets the whole emotional thing going. So tell a story wherever you can. You should always be telling a story.
Yep. And that's how you want people to engage with you. So, so I think, obviously, I think you guys get at this point. Feel free, again, if you want to ask questions throughout the webinar, I do have the chat box open. Ray's got it open. So if you want to ask questions as we go along, please, by all means, do so. So my point, I guess, with all this is that you're not selling a home. And like I mentioned before, you're selling the future opportunity for people to live better than where they're living right now. And they really need to feel that deeply and emotionally in the bottom of their little hearts, because that will help them overcome the fear of the, potential, again, financial situations and all the other stuff we've already talked about. And that's the logic piece where Ray was talking about. You sell them in, you get them dreaming, you get them interested, you get them hooked with that story, and you follow up with the logic about how you, particularly as a realtor or a realtor team or a brokerage or whatever it is that you're selling yourself to be, are uniquely capable enabling them to achieve. Okay, so I really want you guys to challenge yourselves. If you've done listing ads before, go back and look at them. Were they storytelling ads? If they weren't storytelling, if they weren't helpful, try this other kind of stuff. Okay, and like I always say to people whenever I do any kind of training, you are welcome to take a screenshot of your ad and send it to me. So my Facebook page is Rebecca Mountain Incorporated. It's like facebook.com/Rebecca Mountain Inc. And so if you can just send me a message with your screenshot, I'm happy to look at it. Okay, nobody does it, so I'm not overwhelmed. All right, there you go. Okay,
that's a good offer.
Yeah,
I'm sending that link out to everybody right now. Rebecca Mountain. It's just facebook.com Rebecca Mountain.
Yeah, Rebecca Mountain Incorporated, INC.
Okay, done.
So
Thank you.
INC. Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
So here's an example. Thank you. Yep, stop. Here's an example of an ad that we ran, and it generated 75 leads in about 2.5, 3 weeks was the whole time that it was out there. And as you can see, it's structured in a way that includes some of the statistics, because there are certain stats people want to know. How big is it? Like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, where is it, what's the price? Okay, so you can include these sort of quote unquote logical elements, because this is information that people will use in their decision making. They use it to qualify. Should I pursue this or not? So you start off with like an emotional piece of the functionality or the beauty or whatever is particularly unique about the home, get them interested. Then they're gonna be like, but is it big enough? Like I've got 4 kids, so we needed a 5-bedroom home. If I saw a home and it was beautiful, but it had 2 bedrooms, it's not gonna work for me, right? So there are certain criteria that people do want to know and you should include in your ad, but not to the detriment of, getting people emotionally excited about this new potential home for themselves.
Quick question.
Yep.
We talked about, this is all about getting listings on Facebook, right? So what we're just assuming, or what I'm assuming here, is that the best returning ads are where agents use their listings to market. Yes. Am I correct? Rather than saying, hey, I'm a realtor, come and list with me and I'll buy you a new car or whatever. So
yeah, please don't do that. That's illegal in most countries.
Okay. The best marketing is when you're promoting a listing. I just wanted, because I know I'm going to get questions about that.
Yes, there are other programs you can do. Like the only other programs that come close to the kind of leads you can get from listings are niche programs, like first-time buyer campaigns, downsizer campaigns, and so on and so forth. You still have to be careful with the language.
Okay.
But those work really, really well.
One more question on that. Fred's just asked. G'day, Fred.
I see that.
What is the budget and duration? Oh, you already see that? Sorry, I didn't want to cut in.
That's okay. $15 a day is what we spent. And the cost per ad, cost per lead generated, if I remember this correctly, was, I believe, $4.36.
Okay.
I'll be talking about that in a bit. Anything between $5 and $15 is great. But I have seen people who have just followed exactly what I'm showing you today, and they got their cost per lead down to $1, and that's using a budget of $100 for 7 days, which is also another way that you can look at it. So
it's going to depend on your area, isn't it?
It will absolutely depend on your area. And I've got some very specific instructions on how to know how much you should spend. I've got a rule of thumb coming up in just a few slides.
Cool.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So talk about what's unique. Always give the price and location. Do not be coy. Be like, oh, message me for the price. You will get messages of like destruction and doom. And people will be so mad at you. And the reason why that is so dangerous is because when you have people who are angry with you in your ad, that is considered negative feedback, right? And negative feedback is something that goes into what's called a trust score. No one knows their trust score on Facebook, but everybody has one. And what that trust score is dependent upon is, are people speaking positively about what your ad is doing, or are they angry with you? Are they negative? Are they using negative language and negative words? Are they using like the sad face or the angry face or stuff like that? All that gets tracked. And so, like Tony is saying, you'll get useless leads, absolutely, without price and location. You are subjecting yourself to absolute tire kickers because you're going to be like, ooh, I got like 100 leads in 2 days, but 87 of them were just asking you for the price, none of which came back because they got ticked off at you that you didn't give it to them in the first place. So you immediately create a trustless relationship with these people because they're like, if you can't even trust me, the viewer, with the price or the location, then like, I'm not going to trust you with this giant financial thing that I'm going to have to embark down. Right. So you really don't want to do that. So I'm telling you, see, people include address and price in the comments to undermine the ad.
Yeah.
I do that. Anyway.
And if you can't, I'm sorry, but if you can't put the price there, you've obviously got my immediate suspicion is that the agent's not confident that the price is a marketing price. It's way too adventurous. Yep. Anyway, it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah. So again, it doesn't work for a whole bunch of, this is just like tip of the iceberg reasons this stuff won't work. So just don't do it. Put all the information in there. So again, the 4 things people look for: how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, where is it, how much is it? Well, those 4 things always need to be in there. Don't lead off with them though. Lead off with the stories, right? So go with the dream, follow with the logic, right? That's what you need to, that's a perfect way of structuring your ad. All right. Oh, and the thing is, with this particular home here, it looks really awesome from the outside. It had 0 backyard. It literally had a deck above a garage that was below it. And then there was a laneway and another giant building behind it. So this one, we were like, can't really say anything about the backyard, but there's always something awesome you can say about the home. Even you can call it a great fixer-upper. Everyone knows what that means, but you can go with it.
Yep.
So again, like I said, these are the willing elements of your ad copy. And I'm going to talk about images in a second, and then Ray's going to do some showing of this Jiggler program, which I think is fantastic. So start with emotional stuff, right? Price, address, or area. Again, the more specific you are, the better. You can add a few bullet points underneath that if you want, but really limit it to like 3 bullet points that describe the major amazing features of the home. So it'd be like emotional thing, a few statistics about, bedrooms and prices and all that kind of a thing. Couple of bullets if you need them, if you feel it really helps to sell the home. Don't stretch it. And of course, end with a really strong call to action. We are sheep. We need to be told what to do. If you don't tell me what to do, I'll just sit there staring at your ad, blinking at it, and then I'll just like, well, that's nice, and I'll carry on. Okay, you do not want that to happen. You want to tell people exactly what you want to do. And because I'm going to be showing you that this is a lead ad, you can tell them, click below, and now you make a promise. So one of the things you have to be careful with a listing lead ad is there's going to be a requirement for them to fill out a form. Now, no one wants to hand you their information unless they're going to get something in return, preferably immediately. So one of the ways so again, for those of you who are out there who are sort of want to be next level marketers and really want to kill it with this, you can say, for every, fill the information below and I will send you something, right? There are some wonderful programs out there that offer like a neighborhood report. So not only are you going to get the listing information that you're personally going to give to them, but you're also maybe have created a neighborhood report and they're going to get that. So they get a sense not only about the home, but also the neighborhood. You guys know better than me. People buy where it is located as much as they buy the actual bricks and mortar.
Plenty of
So,
free stuff in Jiggler, plenty of free giveaways, plenty of free
oh,
downloads that you can quickly customize, including a book. So I'll show you that in a
serious?
sec. Yep.
Woo! All right. Message to everyone here that the Jiggler program, if it is already delivering content to you to make it easy for you to use, and if you offer that along with people's whatever information about the listing itself, you will get you'll get much better quality leads. When you call them, they'll be much more likely to answer your text or your phone call because you may have triggered something in the report that you send them that they're like, I don't know about this, or I have questions about this, or like whatever, right? But the point is, the more value you offer, the greater the depth of your conversations you can have once you follow up. And like 100% of the time, when people say leads don't work off of Facebook, it's because either they've done all this stuff wrong and or they fail to follow up properly by consistently delivering more value. So if you want to do this right and you want to do it better than any other realtors in your area, so there could be scads of realtors that run listing ads. Your ad, by offering something in addition to just information about the listing, will outshine theirs and you will have a higher conversion rate. So please think about that when we go through Jiggler in just a few minutes. Really pay attention to what's in there, because if you don't have to write it, if you can just take it, customize it, and send it out and attach it as one of these options, it was a really, really good idea. Okay. So what was your CTR button? Oh, I will get to that, Roy. Don't you worry. I'll answer all those questions.
Easy, Roy.
Easy, Roy. Don't worry. But yeah, so, okay, spoiler alert, it's learn more, always. There you go. Okay, so here are examples of good copy as just looking at the copy. Don't look at the images. I mean, the image on the left obviously did really well. The image on the right, I just picked off of out of my stock images. What I want you to notice is a few things. The one on the left, the one that's good, has a lot of copy, but it's split up into little paragraphs. Basically, every sentence of your copy should be its own sentence. So copy, space, copy, more space, copy, and space. And there's always have that. Our eyes are drawn to white space. So if you look at the one on the right, the one that's bad, you'll see that it's a giant block of text. Believe it or not, that's really, really hard for people to read.
It's more work.
It is. It's a tremendous amount of work because you have to concentrate more. And when you think about it, when we're using, like 90% of people are seeing it on their mobile devices. We're scrollers and tappers. We don't want to go, concentrate real hard and not skip a line or miss a word. It's really easy for people to just completely ignore your ad because it's just work. So also in the ad on the right, you'll see that I just use boring language. Come see this great home for sale. It's got this, it's got that, hoorah. And then I just make a bunch of jokes in there if you even took your time to read it, which most of you didn't, because that's right, it's boring and it's work. Okay, so really space out your words, have the story and the stats and then a call to action at the end. And that is going to significantly increase your ability to get people in through your sales funnel, because they'll actually take time to do what you want them to do. If they don't because remember, your call to action is usually at the end. And if they don't make it to the end, they're continuing on. They're not going to do anything that you want them to do. They're not going to get excited in the least. So let's talk about images for a second. What I recommend highly is to use what I call the hero image of your home, which is typically the front. People typically want to see the front of the home, but I have helped some of my clients with some listings, and the front of the home was like, it wasn't great.
Or a condo.
Yeah, or a condo, which it's just boring, right? It's really hard to make a condo look like really snazzy and sexy. So what I recommend that you do is think of the photo that you've taken. First of all, make sure they're professional. Please don't use your phone. And of the ones that were professionally taken, which one do you think really just showcases the true beauty of that home? So for the home that I was helping my client to sell, the outside was okay. It was in a beautiful area, but it was just kind of, it was just boring. But the kitchen's like, boom, right? It just like blew your brains off. It was so gorgeous. So we used that, right? And that was the hero image that we chose for that particular home. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to pick the exterior. But again, if the exterior is nothing really great, or you don't think it really is the best part of the home, pick the best part of the home. Okay. But, and this is a big one, you don't want to use too much text. So again, another mistake people make is putting too much text on the ad itself. And so again, I've got a couple of examples coming up in just a second that will talk to you about, what good and bad text is. But if you look on your screen right now, and actually, Ray, if you can copy and paste that link into the chat box, that'd be super awesome.
I was just trying to do that, but it's on the screen, so I can't copy it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's on your PowerPoint.
Oh, right. All right. Well,
unless it's on mine, we're sharing your screen, so it doesn't matter. I can do what I want, can't I? Yeah. Okay.
You can do whatever you want, Ray.
You play on. Okay. You go.
So this tool here, it's a tool from Facebook. So it actually is on the Facebook platform. And all you would need to do, so you create your image, you upload it to the systems. There's a little upload button, and then it will tell you, yes, it's okay. If it's just green check mark, it's good. Yellow means that you probably have too much text, and then red means no, like you've gone overboard. You only want green. Don't even go yellow, because what happens is if you have too much text, your ad is not seen. So Facebook actually will not give it any reach. So you're going to spend a gajillion dollars for nothing, right? Or you'll spend no dollars also for nothing, whichever way that Facebook decides to take your budget and spend it, which you can't control. So avoid that. Make sure that you use this tool if you are not certain. If you have exceeded the 20% mark, use this tool and it'll be absolutely fantastic. You'll always be safe. So if you look at it, oh, thanks, Roy. Roy put it into the tech chat box for us.
Roy's all over it.
Roy is on today.
Good
Roy
job.
is
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so there you go. You can also just go to Google and type in Facebook text overlay tool, and it'll come up as well. So there's always that if you don't get a chance to actually use this particular URL. All right. So thanks again, Roy, for being super on. So again, on the left, you've got zero text, and that is totally cool, right? You can choose to use text. I've got a couple more examples of what good amounts of text would be. So good is, again, on the left is the hero shot of the home. Bad is my, overdone example on the right of way too much text. Picture of me and all my information. You're not trying to sell you in this ad. That's why the one on the right is like that, because basically that's an ad for me if I was a realtor. And so really it's difficult to kind of rein that in a little bit, especially if maybe you're not having the best year, or just kind of paranoid about, if I don't have my information, no one's going to call me. No one's going to call you if they can't see the house that they want to call you about. Mm-hmm. So, just take a step back, put your call to action in the actual text, keep yourself, there's an example coming up where you can actually put your image on it. Just don't cover the actual house that you're trying to sell. And remember, if the text is written in such a way that you believe that you're actually promoting yourself as opposed to the home to potential buyers, you got to change that up. Okay, just take it out. So here's some other examples. And this is using Jiggler. So I'm going to show you a couple examples, and I'm going to flip this over to Ray, and he's going to take us through Jiggler for a few minutes. Okay, so again, you can have this beautiful hero shot. I want to move to that condo. That is gorgeous. But again, just listed. And then, I always mispronounce. What's the name of that beach, Ray?
Bondi.
Bondi. See, I was going to call it Bondi Beach, but I was pretty sure I was going to insult every.
That's okay. That's okay.
So Bondi Beach. You can get that. Again, you can use some other, like if you want to use like a circle, with for sale on it. Green and orange, I know there's blue on there, but green and orange are the colors that elicit the most positive responses. Mm-hmm. So especially if your brand is already green and orange, those are particularly great and will work for you. But again, the point is that it really pops out, and this is for sale. And remember, we're scrollers and tappers on our phone. You gotta stop me in my tracks and let me see what it is that you're doing. So the one on the left, that would be probably, this bit shy of overdoing it. But again, you can put it on there with your image and then with some information on the left-hand side. Just remember, you're not selling yourself, you're selling the home itself. And then of course you see on the right, Scottsdale listing. Other things you can do, like you can choose, depending on how you know your audience to be, whether you want to say words for sale or listing. Remember, the word listing is often realtor speak, not consumer speak, right? I wouldn't say, I want to list my home. I would say, I want to sell my home, right? Yeah. As a consumer. Yeah. So use consumer words, not real estate words. Okay. All right. So at this point, I'm going to flip it over to you, Ray. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and you should be able to share yours.
Okay. Tell me when I'm on the air.
I would. Sharing a screen. All right.
Okay, cool. Well, you've already showed those. I'll just say a couple of things about these. I just created these in Jiggler. There are some formats there that you can, some pre-made ones that you can do. But you know, from what Rebecca's been telling me, and I got to admit, I'm learning a heap here. You can just grab a single image. If you want to put something down the bottom, you can. And these have been designed in such a way that the copy or Facebook will not allow. Is it under 20%, Rebecca? I think you got to have less than 20%.
Less than 20%. Yeah.
So, and their algorithm basically is if it's close or whatever, they'll just say no, and they'll send you a curt email, and you never get to find out why. So, what we've done in Jiggle, let me just show you quickly, is we've created a number of templates. So all you need to do is jump into your account and click social media. And you can see some templates that we've already got set up in here. I'll shortcut this. I'll just scroll to the bottom because there's literally hundreds in here. And you can see that template that we have here. If you want to change it, make some alterations to it, you simply pick the one that you want and you can make your changes. And with Jiggler, you can change pretty much anything that you want. I can swing that copy around, do it on a different angle. I can change the color of it. So Rebecca was talking about having something in orange or green. So I can do that as well. There's a green. I can select it and I can save it. Switching out my image is easy. I just simply grab the shot. And the good thing about, actually, I'll just show you something here because this is pretty cool. The good thing about, I'm going to just delete all of this for a sec. Delete. The good thing about Jiggler is that you can create an image in the shape that you want, right? So if I just go to here and I grab a shape tool, new rectangle, and say I want the image there like that, I use this tool, place image into shape. Now I've got to use an image here that I've already uploaded to my library, but I just grab a shot of a property. Where's a property? There's a home right there. Or there's that one that I used before. So that will automatically paste it into there, right? So if I want to do a Facebook template, what I can do in Facebook, in fact, let me show you in the blanks because it's easier. Exit without saving. Because what I can do, the size of your post is pretty important, Rebecca, obviously, isn't it? Because we want it to fit in the space that Facebook have allowed. So inside your Jiggler account, if you go here to blank, and you can see here over on the right, Facebook post, right? So this is the correct format. It's the correct height by width that you need to post an image inside of Facebook. So what I'll do here is I'll grab my shape tool and I'm just going to spread that over the whole lot. Bang, like that and like that. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to click the place image into shape tool and I'm going to find an image that I want. Could be this lovely looking home right here. I grab it and boy, that's a little bit fuzzy. Let me get something that's not so fuzzy. In fact, that reminds me something I wanted to say, Rebecca. I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder and you were going to get into it, but make sure, you guys, that you've got great pro images. You've got to make sure that the photo that you're using is just sensational and it looks awesome, because you will be instantly judged by that. If it looks crappy, if it looks blurry, and if you want to make a grey sky blue, send it to boxbrownie.com. Only for a few bucks you can change all of that stuff over, but just get great images because you'll be judged by them. So I can put that in there like that. I can grab, let me grab a little banner here, and I'm just going to put this along the bottom. So you simply grab that like that. I can make that any color I want. Say I'm going to make it, let's make it orange.
Sure.
Let's make it stand out orangey. Is that orange?
See what I use Canva a lot and to do similar things like this, but what I find with this is it's a lot more customizable, and it's also designed specifically for realtors. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's only for realtors, and there's a lot of, once you get involved in Jiggler, you'll see a lot more technical's the wrong word, but there's a lot more listing orientated stuff. It's not just pretty images and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I have clients who I've recommended this for, because a lot of them, they have a team, they like a marketing team, and they're trying to churn stuff out. They're super busy. And if you can create a process whereby you have a template like Ray's creating right now, and you're like, okay, new listing, grab the photo, put it in here, change the address, boom, you're done. Like, you're saving time, man. Yep. And that's part of how you make money with your social media stuff, is that you save time.
Well, once you've got the template here in Jiggler, you can just keep it and then use it whenever you want. You know, if I want to make that bigger, whatever. But I think you guys get the general idea.
Yeah.
So,
and Walter's just pointing out in the chat box here that even like his mortgage company loves it too. Absolutely. Right. And
yes, he does use it for mortgage. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. And you know, when you are trying to grow and scale your business, and every one of you is, you know, in real estate, but you're a real estate business. And if you treat it as such, not just as a hobby or as a job, everything you should do is about finessing process improvements. And this is one way of doing it, right? Making more money isn't always about, you know, reducing your costs, but a lot of it has to do with that too.
And everything's repeatable. So if you've got a system, and the good thing about Jiggler is that you can save into your jiggles all of the things that you want. They're specifically saved there. So every time you need to access it, you simply go into what we call My Jiggles, which is your customized versions of everything. I'll just quickly show you, and you can log into that at any time and find out exactly what you need. The other thing I wanted to show you just quickly while we're in here, Rebecca talked about some calls to action and some free giveaways. One of the most powerful things that you can offer when you're giving stuff away in Jiggler, when you're giving stuff away, is information. People are always interested to see, you know, learn a little bit more about what's going on. So sorry, there's the Jiggler files just populating in there at the moment. And one thing that I've done, I've recently written a book called Above Market Value. And the good thing about the book is that you can jump in, you can customize it, and you can save it as a PDF. You simply follow the instructions, you send us the information that you need, and we'll send you back a link. So on pages number, it's asking me to save it, one sec. So on pages number 1 and the last page, I think it's only like a 21-page PDF, you can customize it to include your info. So I think that's really important as well. So there's the first page where you can save it. You can put your information in there, and you can simply scroll across and you can do the last page as well, which I think is subpage 21. One final word on a lot of this marketing, these marketing ideas. I'm not a huge fan of putting your logo everywhere on this lead gen stuff. When you're actually marketing something and they're going to your website, of course, they're going to be seeing your logo. They're going to be seeing your logo when it's when your sign's on the front fence or wherever it might be. But as a marketing thing, it's almost been proven it's a distraction, and it's not suddenly going to make somebody race out and call you, right? What are we looking for? We're looking for them to say, hey, I saw that house. I like the way it looks. I've got a few questions and maybe I'd like to line up a viewing. That's the mission. So keep it as simple as you can. So you can just create something like that. Go with a consistent font. If you're using something that you like, you've got a stack of fonts inside of Jiggler you can use. You've got, you know, dozens to choose from, and they're all like web friendly fonts. So you can jump in and grab what you need. Okay.
Awesome.
Stop share. You're back in town.
Okay, so let me I somehow managed to go to full screen. All right, so I will go back to my presentation. Okay, so what I want to talk to you briefly about now before I hop into Facebook, so I want to actually show you how to create your listing audience and how to be a special category in Facebook so you don't get deactivated. Let's first talk about selecting your audience, because again, this is where people get all messed up. Oh, is my video camera not showing anymore? I know it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's showing. Okay. I can see it. Yep.
Yeah, I can't see myself anymore, but that's all right. I know what I look like. Okay. So, you know, just a few sort of top line points. Your ad is only as good as the people who see it. A lot of people say my ad didn't work because people in Brazil were looking at it. If you don't live in Brazil, but people in Brazil are looking at it, well, then yeah, that's a problem. And so, you know, making sure that you set the right criteria for your targeting is incredibly important. Because that'll lead to bad leads and high cost. Bad idea all around. Okay, so rule of thumb. So again, this was for someone who asked the question about like kind of what was your budget? What's a good budget? Your potential audience if you can swing it, should be about 100,000 or more. Now, I understand that there are people who are in smaller towns or smaller areas, and no matter how hard you try, there ain't 50, even 50,000 people who are Facebook users in your potential reach area. Okay, but the thing is, all you would do is you would adjust your budget. So as you can see in the last bullet, rule of thumb, $10 per day for every 100,000 people in your potential audience size. If you don't know where to find that, give me 5 minutes. I will show you exactly where that number is, okay? So again, if you have 50,000 people instead of 100,000, then you can actually bring your budget down safely to between $5 and $7 per day. Alrighty, so again, just in case math is not everyone's forte, ain't mine sometimes, so I like it. Sometimes it helps out with more examples. If you have a potential size of 200,000, you should aim for about $20 a day. Now, if you have like a million, because sometimes there's just a ton of people. I live just outside Toronto. And so maybe the potential audience size is actually really, really big, and I don't want to spend $100 a day. It's okay for you to not go at like the full amount. So again, if it's a million people, you don't have to spend $100 a day or $1,000 a day. But what you should aim for is to get it into as manageable a size as possible based on what you're spending. And the reason for that is if you go and say, let's use the million. So if your target audience size is a million and you choose to spend $3 a day, and I'm going after the same people and I'm spending $30 a day, Facebook will give me the best at leads first. Like they'll show my ad to the best, most likely to convert people first, and you get the dregs. So if you manage, again, you have that balance of size of audience to your budget, then you'll be okay. So generally speaking, the sweet spot for the daily budget for ads is between $16 and $20 per day, okay? And again, for most listing ads, you only need to run them for 7 days. You don't have to keep these things going in perpetuity unless you're having trouble selling it, or maybe it's a niche product. But generally speaking, the first 7 days is when you're gonna get your best buyers anyway. And so just sort of keep that philosophy going. All right, now these are the new rules. So again, for those in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada who are listening, technically these have not rolled out to our countries, but they're coming and they won't tell you when, so you might as well start adhering to them, okay? So because of the lawsuit that Facebook lost, these are the new ways you promote a listing. Only a listing. If you're doing any campaign that is not for a home that is for sale, home, condo, farm, whatever, these rules do not apply. Okay, this is only if you're trying to sell an actual abode. You can no longer target based on age, gender, or zip code or FSA. Okay, so depending on, and I don't know what the equivalent is in Australia, Ray. What would be equivalent of a zip code in Australia?
Postcode.
Postcode?
4-digit postcode, yeah.
Okay, all right. You can't do that. It's not on the table anymore for you.
Okay. But you can say Bondi, or you can say Burlington. You
can. So if you look to the fourth bullet, your targeting is limited. No, it's okay. It's on the screen. We're good. It's limited to, if you say Bondi Beach, it'll go Bondi Beach plus 15 miles or more.
Okay.
Then you can't get any tighter than that. So you can also drop in the address. So it's 123 Main Street, 15-mile radius. You can do like a city, 15-mile radius, an area, 15-mile radius. But that is your limitation. You can't get any tighter than that. You can choose multiples if you want to, so you can drop pins in multiple areas, but each dropped pin, if you do it like a non-listing ad, when you drop a pin, you can go as tight in as like a 1-mile radius. You're still with a listing, you can drop any pin you want, but it starts off at a 15-mile radius around that dropped pin. Okay, so there's also severe limitations on the interest targeting you could do. For listings, I recommend skipping interest targeting anyway. It's not important to you. You also cannot exclude people. So if I run campaigns like a downsizing campaign for a client, I don't want realtors coming into my funnel, so I exclude them, okay? For a listing, I never exclude realtors anyway, because if I have a home to sell and you're a realtor with a whole bunch of buyers, chances are you can actually find someone that we can, that I can sell the house to. So it looks terrible and frightening, but it's like, well, okay, it's not so bad. Really, it's really not so bad when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. Some people have been told, and I have no idea who said this, but someone said it and everyone's believing it, that because of these restrictions, your ad costs are going to go up and the quality of your lead is going to go down. And that is absolute baloney, because if you follow the other instructions I just told you in terms of how to write your ad and all that kind of a thing, and also like when you fill out the form, which we're going to talk about in a second, you're going to get the perfectly right people in through your sales funnel. Okay. So that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Okay.
Okay.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to find...
we're going to go live rather than go through the slides. I like that. Well done. Thank you.
Nobody wants to do that. That just sounds
No.
painful and horrifying. Okay. So this is in Facebook. If you've never run an ad before, you simply log into your Facebook, your regular Facebook, no, not your page, just regular Facebook, and you hit create and you choose create ad. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to go to this screen here. Okay. So this is what it looks like. On the left-hand side, you'll see there's 3 sections: campaign, ad set, and ad. We're going to go through these fairly quickly, but again, I'll describe everything to you. So as you can see on your screen, there's lots of different kinds of ads you can run. Today, I'm only going to talk to you about one of them because otherwise we'd be here forever and ever, and that is lead generation. Okay, so
that's what we want.
That's what you want. Just look at the name of the ads. It tells you what the ads do. So if you're like, how do I just, promote my brand? Hey, brand awareness. Okay. So today we're talking about generating leads. So we're going to take the thankfully easily named lead generation. Now this is going to be really, really important. Name your campaign, right? Whatever the name is of your listing, right? So for sale or for rent or whatever. Because if you run multiple ads and you eventually want to go back and say, well, how did this listing do compared to this listing? If they all just say lead generation, which is the default, you're not going to know what anything is. Okay, so always make sure that you name your campaign. This is a new thing. I'm just going to touch on it briefly, but unfortunately it goes into a little bit more of a rabbit hole. In some time, Facebook is going to change the way they allocate budget. So for those of you who have done ads before, it used to be, or it is right now, that the budget is allocated at the ad set level, right? You can create, say if you want to test different audiences, you say, I want this audience to spend this much per day, this audience for that much a day, and so on. In either September or February, I've heard both, Facebook is changing it and you have to set an overall campaign level budget. Okay, so I don't know when that's going to roll out. I don't even know what's going to roll out in the US. We're usually later here in Canada and Australia. You're probably about the same time as we get it up here in the Great White North. Although it's blisteringly hot here right now. Well, blistering for a Canadian. Sorry, I should have respect my Australian counterparts.
It's about 30. It's about 32 here at the cottage today.
Yeah, yeah.
And the humidity is about 110.
No, we just go out there and just melt. Our poor Canadian bodies. Okay, so if you want to be like super safe, you can add, say, campaign budget optimization, right? You can turn that on and then run them. But I'm just letting you know that eventually all ads are going to be done at the campaign level. I'm just going to leave that off for now because that's not really what I want to talk about today. Okay, so once you've chosen lead generation, there's a couple of different things you need to do. So I manage a whole bunch of pages, so I'm going to find my own page. If you don't manage a bunch of pages, then this is not going to be a problem for you. Okay, so there is my page. And you'll see under here, I think I have already accepted the terms and conditions for running a lead generation ad, which means I promise not to sell the data down the river, okay? If you have not ever run a lead gen ad before, there'll be a button in here that you click on. If you don't click on it, you're not going to be able to move to the next step in your ad creation. So just promise that you're not going to sell the data and everyone goes home happy. Okay, now, where did it go? Oh, are you serious, Facebook? You're going to do this to me today? Okay. Let me see. I'm just checking something because the whole idea of a dynamic, hang on a second, I'm going back because they changed. Of course, I'm teaching something, so Facebook is going to change things. All right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
For those that may not know, so you're not in your personal page. You've gone to your marketing from your Facebook business page.
You can only ever create an ad from a business page. Okay. So, but to get here, you actually log into your regular Facebook and hit create and create ad.
Gotcha.
You don't have to be logged into your Facebook page to start the process.
Sweet.
Okay. So, all right. So what Facebook is not showing me today, because I don't know why, if you are going to choose if you're going to be advertising a listing, right under dynamic creative here, there is going to be something that says special category. And because it's not saying this right now, what I'll do, right, is I actually did a video that had the special category designation on it. I will send that to you separately.
Okay, cool.
So that way people can see where it is and what it looks like. And I have no idea why it's not showing up today.
Okay.
That's really annoying. So, oh, actually, you know what? Hang on a second. I'm going to try something. Because I have a client who's in the US. And it might be because if I show it, I'm just going to try one quick thing because I really want to show you guys what this looks like. So this is a different account that I've been running ads for where it was, there it is. Okay. So that's how you know if the rules apply to you or not. So I had the original account that I was on 2 seconds ago was a Canadian account, a Canadian ad account.
Yep.
And as you saw that special category didn't exist. So if you don't see this thing right here, new category required for U.S. credit, employment, and housing ads, then the rules are not applicable in your country yet, okay? But as soon as you see this, okay, so especially if it's any from the US or anyone that say in Australia or New Zealand instead of seeing this yet, you have to self-report that this is going to be a housing ad, specifically a listing ad. So you click on that little box, I'm creating a campaign, a special category, you have credit, employment, and housing. So, so I think it was, who was it? Was it Walter that uses this for your mortgage company? So if you're using
Walter
it,
does.
Walter or anyone else, that may be either a realtor and a mortgage agent, or you are using it for a mortgage company that maybe you co-own, please make sure that you look through these terms and to say, do I actually find what I'm doing in these categories? And then you must self-report. So as you can see here, ads for real estate listings, homeowners insurance, mortgage loans, or other related opportunities. So mortgage loans, mortgage brokers, you probably have to self-report the housing one in here. So you choose housing, and then what you would do is you would choose the ad type, and then it's going to take forever now because it's Facebook and it hates me. 123 Main Street. Sorry, I like to sing. And then we hit continue. Okay, so that's where you start right at the top. And as soon as you click that, you're going to start getting the restricted opportunities to do targeting. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do my page again. There she is. And everything here, it looks the same, but now you see that gray bar across the top. Special category of housing. Again, if you didn't have that, you have all the targeting options you want, but that's like a ticking time bomb and they're eventually going to go away. So what the difference is between if you've run an ad before and then you come in here and you're suddenly a special category, you will note you cannot designate age or gender. Very limited detailed targeting is also there, and you'll see that there's no exclusion, just like I told you. Okay, so if you wanted to do a location, right? So I'm going to put where I live, right? So I can drop that pin. So that, like, for instance, say that's the actual location of a home you're trying to sell. If you click on this little drop down arrow, you'll see that you cannot go any tighter than 15 miles, but you can go out as much as 50. Okay, so that is basically your targeting strategy for a listing, with some very limited options for you to include and some detailed targeting. But again, for a listing, it's more important for the questions you ask in your form than it is to worry about the targeting, because you can't control that anymore. Okay, so we'll continue on. I always recommend you edit your placements because not all placements work. So just from my experience, and again, you guys are all welcome to choose your own options. I don't find that, where are we at? So for Facebook, the newsfeed works. Instagram feed does not work, because Instagram is great for brand awareness and really crappy for lead generation. Marketplace is not where people are looking for homes typically. Stories are great, right? Facebook stories. Again, Instagram is just not really good for lead generation. Again, if you've tested this and you have a different result, then that's great. But what I have
to you.
Yeah, but just if you're saying to me, Rebecca, what are the best placements for my ads, is basically Facebook news feeds and Facebook stories.
Hey, quick question with stories. The format, it's like the story format looks like that. So we've just done, and there are story formats in Jiggler as well. But so it just still takes a photo of the place. I guess that's where just a plain photo is going to work pretty well.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And again, your daily budget, you would set it according to what we talked about before.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'm very much recognizing we're at the top of the hour. So the only thing I want to take you guys through, so please, if you're going to run a lead ad, just stick with me for like 5 more minutes, because I want to show you some very important things about the form that you create. So we've already talked about what a good or a bad, ad image looks like and copy. So I'm not going to go through and recreate it. Again, you would just bring in the photo that you want to use here, right? So you would change your image, make sure that it looks beautiful. You would enter your text here, according to everything that we talked about, storytelling, building up, all of those wonderful reasons to live there. I like to use, I don't even know why this is a thing, but square brackets with the word for sale in it. And then the address. I just totally changed the name of the address, but if you want, you can even put the price down there, but it's totally up to you. Or you can say something, if it's in a particular like well sought after neighborhood, you would write that in the headline. Whatever, again, what's going to make people go, whoa, that's really what you want to drive in here. And then just,
what's our max number of words?
For the headline?
No, for the copy, for the description.
Oh, like, I don't know, 1,000.
Okay.
Err on the side for an ad, err on the side of more copy. You want people to see that ... see more, and you want them to click.
Okay.
Okay, because that's considered engagement.
Okay.
On Facebook, and the more engaging ads get better reach and lower cost. So if you just write home for sale, come see it, no one's going to really click on it, and your engagement ratio is going to be really
so
good.
More good copy equals more engagement.
Bingo jingo.
Okay.
And because Roy asked me a long time ago, learn more is the button you want to use. Okay, and that is just research has shown, but like far and away, it's way better than any of the other ones. Okay, so you scroll down to the bottom, and now what you can do is you can create a lead form. So as you can see, I teach this course a lot. So I have a whole bunch of 1, 2, 3 Main Streets. You can duplicate. So if you do this enough for your listings, you can create your form once and then just duplicate, right? So like Jiggler templates that allow you to go through the process faster, you can create a lead form template, duplicate it, and just go in and change some of the basics, right? So the address and obviously anything else important, and it just saves you a little bit more time. Today, I'm going to go with you quickly through changing up a new form. So, and this is going to be really important because I've got something to talk to you about when we're done. So the one thing you want to do is you want to call your form something. And the reason you want to do that is I've had people run ads, pick the wrong lead form because they just left it as untitled. And then they couldn't figure out why they weren't getting any leads. They're like, why am I not getting any leads? I logged into her account. I took a look at all of her lead forms, and she'd chosen the second one as opposed to the first one. And so when she was going into the first lead form and nothing was changing, she was getting nothing because they were all in the second one. Okay, so please name your lead form, the listing that you're trying to sell. It'll help you a lot. So here's a tip. So again, this is for like people who might not know this. In your settings, configure it to open from restricted. Here's the reason why. If you do an ad on a listing and I get targeted, I'm like, oh, this is great, not for me, but for my sister. If it's ad restricted, I can't share that ad. If it's open, I can. So set your settings type to open instead of restricted. This is another option for you. So again, your choice, guys, but I would go for higher intent as opposed to more volume. And the only difference between the two is on higher intent, after they fill out their form, there's a review screen. And it says, is this information correct? And they go through and they review it and they say yes. Okay? That one thing gets rid of a ton of tire kickers. You're best to have fewer leads that are highly converting than a whole bunch of people that are going to just waste your time.
Yeah, they're going to suck your time and then you're not going to get anything back for it. So,
and it's just, even if you have them on an automated drip, you're going to get them into your CRM and they're going to be useless to you. Okay, so just watch out for that. The next few, this one here is an intro, as you can see on the right. You can give them an introduction. I recommend you use this because people have like zero attention span. So they're going to click on your ad, they're going to come to this form, and they're going to instantly forget why they're there. They're like, why am I here? And that's what they sound like, by the way. So having an intro screen reminds them like, hey, you're still here. This is what you came for, right? It's really, really good. Always use the image from your ad. Don't change it. They'll get confused. and either choose a paragraph or bullet format to, again, just remind them of what it is that they are going to be excited about. Okay, so you just take exactly, if you wanted to, take your ad copy and fire it in here, or just make sure that it looks nice on the right-hand side, because you can see here, every time we make a change on the left, it shows up on the right. Oops, did not want to do that. And I want that back up there. Okay. Questions. This is where you qualify people. So again, if you're like, I'm sick of tire kickers, this is how you overcome that, right? So it doesn't really matter what you put in your headline. Learn more by providing your information below. It could be to get to get more info and, oopsie, and the goodie. I can't type when I'm teaching. Goodies I promised, right? So if you promised like some sort of a lead magnet with your listing, so let them know that they're going to get both of those things by providing their information. Okay, and then you have a choice of what kind of information you collect. I collect 4 things: first name, last name, email, phone number. The option of also asking no more than 1 question. I mean, technically you can ask a whole bunch, but the more questions you ask, the fewer people who are going to come in, and you might actually lose potentially good leads. Okay, the best research has shown the best number of fields for any kind of form like this is 5. And the first 4 is basic information. So the email is great. We do not want full name. So we're going to click on that. We're going to hit delete. My full name on Facebook is Rebecca Spencer Mountain. Right? I've gone through a couple of husbands, so that's actually a couple of husbands' names. So if I get an email, fun fact, I just deal with multiples. I'm my husband's 3rd wife. Same joke every time. I'm his favorite wife so far. Okay. So if I get an email saying, hey, Rebecca Spencer Mountain, I'm like insto delete, because it's obviously automated, but you want people to feel like it's actually coming from you. So you would add new question, you go to contact field, and you would choose, oh, not that one, sorry, user information, went to the wrong place first, choose first name, add new question, back up here, oopsie, choose last name, ask another question, because now we're going to add the phone number. That's in the contact fields. If you want to send them a physical thing, you can get their street address, and phone number is what we're looking for here. The cool thing about lead ads, as opposed to sending them to your website, is Facebook will take this information that is already on their personal Facebook profile and auto-populate it. So they don't have to type it. You are less likely to get a mistyped email address or a mistyped phone number. They can always go in and change it, but most people don't. When they first rolled this out, I'm like, there is no way in hell someone's giving me their phone number. 100% of people give it over to you, and most often it's a mobile device. Okay. Yep. So again, if you want to ask 1 qualifying question, you can choose short answer and multiple choice. I don't like conditional, and appointment scheduling doesn't work. So
you might ask something like, how long have you been searching for a home, or something like that. Something,
absolutely.
Non-offensive.
Right. Exactly. Non-offensive, non-discriminatory.
Yep.
Okay. If you want to choose multiple choice, a common question is, when do you want to move? Right. There we go. And your answers, you can go, I'm typing in now and I'm hitting enter. And then 3 to 6 months and enter, right? 6 to 12. And then another one I always like to include is don't know. And those are the people you just send into your drip campaign and you don't spend time on them because they're your tire kickers. That's like classic tire kicker. Basically, it's written all over their forehead.
Yep.
Okay. The one other thing that's really critical about a lead ad is you must have a privacy policy. Okay. If you don't have one on your website, go get one. In the meantime, use your brokerage's privacy policy on their website because you're usually under contract with them. I know it's changing, but that's the way it is. So I'm just going to use mine because I know and don't try to say, put in a fake URL because you will get deactivated for that. Okay. So don't try to, scam the system.
You'll end up in Facebook jail.
Yeah, and you can't get out of it either. You have to sort of respawn, and it's really quite nasty. It's happened to me for various and sundry reasons over the years, but I avoid it like the plague. Okay, so now we're on the second to last screen, review screen. There's nothing you can do with this screen. You just look at it. It's pretty. It's on the right. It's great. Just confirms the information that you're asking for. And then the last one is your thank you screen. So again, thanks, you're all set is fine. Or, check your inbox because your freebie is coming. Whatever it is that you've promised in your ad, this is where you reiterate that the promise is now being fulfilled. Okay, so whatever you said was going to happen, this is where you tell them that this is actually what's happening. You can send them to a website. So you can say for more listings, go here. and you send them to your listings website, download it. You cannot attach a file. You have to take a file, put it on a landing page, and then create a URL that directs people to that landing page.
So if you do the book with Jiggler and you send us the information, we send you back a link, so your link can go straight in there.
Bingo. That's exactly what you would do. That's a brilliant solution. So I'm just going to use that as an example. Get your freebie, okay, whatever you want there. Your freebie. Again, I'm just typing this stuff because I know we're running out of time. And then because I don't have that link, again, you would put it in here. That would drive them to get their free book. So they click on that and then away they go.
Awesome.
Okay. So at this stage, you've done your form. You can hit save. Or what I prefer to do is hit finish, telling me that there's an error. Oops, I must have missed putting some content in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, blah. Okay, now I'm going to click finish. See, what's going on, Facebook? I've got all check marks. All right, Facebook knows that I am teaching today, and so it's just going to be a booger. Really? Save. Okay, so Facebook is drunk, and we're really sorry for that. But you see on the left-hand side, they're all green check marks. Generally, when Facebook is behaving, those all green check marks mean everything is fine, and then you are perfectly able to submit your form. But I'm going to try this one more time for good luck. No, it's just going to do that. Anywho. So thanks, Facebook. Really appreciate you making.
They do that because they don't have a competitor.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, okay, I'm just leaving. Bye, Facebook. All right, so the last thing I want to just talk to you about is what to do now. Because at this point, once you have your lead form created, your ads going